In this video, I will show you how to tackle a GMAT reading comprehension problem step by step. Your ability to skim the passage is the key to the successful strategy. Many GMAT tutors and books recommend you to get familiar with the question types. While this may be true to some extent, you need a more fundamental approach to reading comprehension because you always need to find the evidence from the passage. Practice skimming the passage as quickly and accurately as possible. The general step is like this. Before reading answer choices, skim the passage to get an overall idea. Then read the question and answer choices and skim again to search for keywords and specific details. So the first skimming is getting a general idea and the second skimming is getting specific details. The following sample reading comprehension passage is a short reading with 209 words and it has 2 paragraphs. Do not read the passage carefully and slowly. That's not what the GMAT is about. Imagine yourself as a CEO who does not have much time and must scan all reports. Skim the passage and look for repeating main keywords and figure out what the passage is talking about on the whole. How do you skim the passage? First, focus on keywords and ignore details. Second, choose what to read. In other words, make your own decision where to read. Usually, people pay attention to the first and last sentences of each paragraph. Pause the video and skim the passage for about 3 minutes. What is the passage talking about? The main keywords are schools, textbooks, Native Americans. What is the purpose of the passage? The first paragraph deals with the author's argument. The second paragraph describes a possible counter-argument against the author's. What is the author's argument? The author argues that history textbooks distort history. Then the author gives an example of Native Americans being stereotyped in textbooks. The tone of the passage is critical because the author is delivering a strong argument. The counter-argument in the second paragraph talks about children being able to discern such biases in the textbook. So you can see that the passage is about the influence of the textbooks on children. Now let us read the question. Which of the following would most logically be the topic of the paragraph immediately following the passage? Because the passage is about influence of textbooks on children, the answer choice must mention textbooks and their influence on children. Otherwise, it would be out of scope. The question is asking the immediate topic of the next paragraph after given passage. Therefore, we need to look at the last sentence of the second paragraph. Given this, an ongoing careful review of how school textbooks depict Native Americans is certainly warranted. You can anticipate that the correct answer will talk about the review of the influence of textbooks on children. Let's move on to answer choices. A. Specific way to evaluate the biases of United States history textbooks. Answer choice A looks good. It talks about textbooks and the biases of textbooks which can influence children. A is the answer, but let us move on to other answer choices just to make sure. In the actual GMAT test, you don't need to read the other answer choices if you are confident with your answer. B. The centrality of the teacher's role in United States history courses. B is out of scope because it does not talk about textbooks. The passage itself did not talk about the teachers at all either. Eliminate B. C. Non-traditional methods of teaching United States history. C is also irrelevant. Nowhere in the passage can you find the discussion about traditional and non-traditional methods of teaching the U.S. history. Eliminate C. D. The contributions of European immigrants to the development of the United States. D is contradicting to the passage. Author is against the view of D. Eliminate D. E. Ways in which parents influence children's political attitudes. E does not talk about textbooks and is out of scope. Nowhere in the passage can you find the mention of parents. Eliminate E. This question is easy because you only have to select the answer choice that talks about the textbook. Answer choice A is the only statement that mentions textbooks. A is the answer. Now try the following question with the same passage. The passage is primarily concerned with. In a primary purpose question, any answer choice that is detailed is the wrong answer. primary purpose has to include everything in the passage and must be general without being too specific. A good way to identify the primary purpose or main idea of the passage is to read the first and last sentences of each paragraph and confirm if the answer choice covers all these sentences. Let us read the first and last sentence of each paragraph. Schools expect textbooks to be a valuable source of information for students. Although textbooks evaluate Native American architecture, political systems, and homemaking, I contend that they do from an ethnocentric European perspective without recognizing that other perspectives are possible. One argument against my contention asserts that by nature, textbooks are culturally biased and that I am simply underestimating children's ability to see through these biases. Given this, an ongoing careful review of how school textbooks depict Native Americans is certainly warranted. And look at the following answer choices. Because the tone of the passage is critical, we can eliminate the neutral sounding words like reconciling, discussing, and describing. Eliminate B, C, and D. Between answer choices A and E, A is too specific for a primary purpose question. A only talked about one aspect. Furthermore, A is irrelevant to the purpose of the passage. On the other hand, E mentions the influence of textbooks on children, and the repeating keyword Native Americans is the answer. In conclusion, skimming is everything for the GMAT reading comprehension. Improve your skimming skill. Learn to skim for general ideas first, and then skim again later to pick up your evidence from the passage. The first skimming is general, and the second skimming is specific. Only when you are confident with the skimming skill, then can you master the reading comprehension. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and good luck with the skimming.